But yeah. Now, when after you've made it, again, you can see exactly what the students will see if you go to View Live Form. So you can see if something doesn't show up right, it should show, there. But this is exactly what and this is if you wanted to actually do it yourself, you could actually do the quiz yourself too, which if you wanted to grade it, one of the things you have to do is you have to have a key, so you would have to have a correct answer, unless you have like a super smart kid that you're guaranteeing is going to be right or something. But you're probably going to want to do a key. But you can see what it looks like there. You can look, it's really easy to go to, again, if you're on the main page, you can go to the view responses, which is going to show everyone that's turned it in and what they've answered, and the View Live Form. So in the responses, when you're there, one thing, and that since you don't have an actual response page in front of you right now, this is just something you have to just kind of remember. But if you go to edit, format and text wrapping and wrap, that's something you're going to want to have checked so you can see all of the. It's supposed to wrap the text so you can see it. Why is that not doing that? 1 second here. There we go. If you go to format, and this is in the, should be in the presentation that I've, that's on the resource page that you can all get. But format, text wrapping, and wrap, what that does is it lets you see the entire answer rather than if you had it set to overflow, which is like the default, it's going to cut off all the edges. And so like if you're trying to see what the students are answering and see if they're answering correctly, because maybe you made a, I mean, we all do it. I make a mistake and you realize through the first class that question's not going to be any good because, you worded it wrong or you had it wrong, so they're all answering wrong. But if you want to see the entire answer, click on wrap, it'll show you the entire answer, whereas you have it on, if you have it on overflow, which is the default, you're not going to see it. It's going to cut it off right here. You're going to see just, you see just Arnold Schwarzenegger and then nothing else. All right, now I'm going to talk about sharing these. Now, if you're using Google Classroom already, it's super easy to share. You literally go into your classroom and you just make a link and you just copy and paste it into Classroom. So that's really easy to do. But you don't need to be using Classroom to do this. It's still pretty easy to share it. If you wanted to share a form and send it to someone, like I've made it, I'm done, I want to make sure I want to send it to whoever, you would go to this link right here and send form. And then there's a couple options that you have. You can just copy and paste this link, which is what I did for you guys. I copy and pasted, I made it shorter in that go.gl, and then you put that on your board and they can all go to it. That's probably the quickest. If you don't have like lists set up or anything like that, that's pretty easy to do, and they can pretty easily get to that. Even quicker though, is if you make a group in your contacts, and then you can just literally make a group for any different period, or you can make a group for the entire team, or you can make a group for teachers, if you're sharing like a resources or whatever. Making groups is probably the easiest way, especially if you're not using Classroom or if the people you're sharing with don't use Classroom. So I'm going to show you how to make a group to easily share it with.
Have you done this? So like say you had kids with Final Core plans or something like that,
yep.
Make a group for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Send it to them, that way it's not.
Yep, like for for my like advanced classes, sometimes like have a separate group for the advanced classes. Advanced kids too, so you could send something to just them, or you could make, all kind, if you had any kind of groups, it's easy to make them. And yeah, that's an easy way to differentiate, and then they won't even know that they're getting something differentiated. They're all just getting this link, but they're not even gonna really know that they're getting different things. And also work if you're doing some kind of like a jigsaw thing too, where you wanted, 4 different groups of kids that get 4 different things and then come together later or something. It's an easy way to do that. But if you wanted to make a group list, you need to go up, you need to be in your Google Drive or Google Apps, click on the little Rubik's Cube looking thing, the square, and then go to, you go to Contacts, and then when here, okay, and here at towards the bottom it says New Group. You all see where it says New Groups under this? I have a lot of groups here, so that's why it's way down there. But you click on New Group. You can call it whatever you want. I'll call it I don't know, Teacher Group or something. Teachers. Already exists. Teachers 1. So now I got my Teachers 1 group. So if you wanted to then add people to that group, you have to click on it here, and once it's open, you just click on this little plus sign here. And then you'd have to have your class list, like let's say this was a period 1 or something, you'd type in a person, like I would type in true, let's see, type in, why is it not showing up here? Do this. Give me a second, I might have screwed that up.
I have kids on here from like 3 years ago. Can I just delete all those names?
Yeah,
Does it
you
matter?
can delete all those names.
You go up to that square and then down to contacts. Yeah.
Been a year since I made these contacts. I thought I had this. Supposed to once you have a group, you should be able to type in a name. I type in Bjorn's name, that pops up. I go to add, and he'd be in that group. Type in, but it's only getting the ones that I already have in there.
So how to do it for your classroom?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Just a second here. Import.
I wonder if there's a way to do it through their lunch number.
No, there's a way to really simply do this where you just start typing their name and they'll pop up.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out, I'm in the wrong thing at the moment. Bear with me here. If anyone figures it out, the place, I think I'm in the wrong spot here.
For adding the contacts?
For adding a contact that's already, there's a really quick way to
Just go to the directory
go to the directory.
and then start typing their name.
Well, you can find them this way.
just typed in the name and then hit enter, and then all the ones that name
Up here?
popped up, yep. So I just typed in the first name and then every that came up.
Okay, my favorite. So I go, and then I click on Justin Johnson, I go to add. And then I click on Dylan, and I click on him, and I can go to, you can add, so.
So for your class, you're gonna take each student.
So you'd have to add them to your contacts first, and then you can put them into their groups once they're actually added to your contacts. Then, like, so it's gonna take some work to type it, for typing every name. So for a regular classroom teacher that only has 80, it's gonna take 80. But if you have a bunch of kids, type in 150 names. But once you've done it, they're there, and then you have to organize them by the. Then once you have it, once they're in your contacts, then you can just put them in your group.
So say I wanted to add a group, like say like a modified period 1.
Yep.
Their name will, but if I want them also to be like the.
They can be in.
period one?
They can be a bunch of groups.
Right, so good, but then if I send out, if they're in that one group, and I send out everything, they're gonna get 2 forms, aren't they? Like, if they're in like my period 1, I send out a form, then I send out a modified form, they're gonna get 2 forms. So I have to keep them separate, or?
You could have like 3 groups where you have a period 1 period, and then like a period 1 regular and a period 1 modified. And it's really easy to just, once you're sharing something, like, I'm gonna go here.
No, and then add them like with the, through
Yeah.
the circles or whatever, yeah.
Like when I'm, I type in period 1, but if you did period 1 and you had 3 different ones, you just highlight period 1, advanced, period 1, modified, or whatever you have. And so you don't have to be adding, it'd be easy to do that. You'd have to set up all those groups. It'd be a lot of groups, but it would make it streamlined for handing out stuff.
Are your contacts automatically loaded once you have a class?
In Google,
It's never auto
it's not auto.
loaded.
It's never been auto loaded for me, at least. So should be.
It says you can import them,
If you import.
but you have to have them in some sort of format to import them.
So could you import it from?
A CSV file, it says.
I gotta be honest, that's a little out of my
I was just-
expertise.
I'm just trying to find an easier way to,
There has
so you don't
the
have to type everybody's name in. But if you did this with Google Classroom, it talks to each other?
if you're doing classroom, then you could, I'm pretty sure you could if they join your classroom, you could import from that way.
Okay.
But that's only if you're doing classroom. If you're not doing classroom, I think you're gonna have. I've always had to type in all the names, and I'm pretty sure I asked Monty, and I don't think I think you have to do that initial typing of the names to do it.
But there's no way to differentiate if you go through classroom? You know what I mean?
No.
Not unless you have different classrooms. I think, well, if you're in classroom, I mean, let's go to classroom here. Let's see. I think in classroom, I think you have to just, I don't think you can send to just individual people in classroom, right? Yeah. So, if you want to differentiate, this would be an easier way to do it than classroom, because you could make any groups that you wanted. And you wouldn't have to make even period groups, you could literally just make, for me, like Eagles, modified Eagles. And so you send out, or you could have regular Eagles, modified Eagles, and a regular, and just the Eagles word. The Eagles has every single student. The regular has the regular assignments. If you're doing a modified one, you have a modified one, and you could do, advanced one too. So it's going to take a little bit of time just typing those names, but once you have those names typed, it only takes half an hour or so, because once you type it, it pops up. Once you have them made, then it'll make the rest of your year a lot more streamlined doing that. I want to get to Flublue real quick, since that's under the kind of the scope of what I'm supposed to be teaching you. If you have a assignment that you wanted to grade and grade automatically, you can use a add-on